Hi, my name is April, and this is High Fantasy Writing. As it is the month of October, I'm doing a little bit of Preptober for NaNoWriMo in November. Now, the NaNoWriMo Instagram page had posted a 31 Days of October challenge with different prompts for each day, and I wanted to go through those to tell you guys a little bit more about my story. Now, I am doing this challenge over on TikTok as well, so every single day I'll be posting a new video with a new prompt. Here on YouTube, however, I'm just accumulating the entire week's worth of prompts and posting it at the end of the week on Thursday, so you guys don't have to watch 31 videos. But if you did want to see everything every single day, go ahead over and check out my TikTok at High Fantasy Writing. This is week 3 of the InstaWrimo challenge. I'll be doing prompt 16 to 23 today. Are you gonna look at the camera? Or just out the window? I know you like looking out the window. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Whoop. So jumping right into it, we have prompt number 16, your favorite word. Now this one is really difficult because for me, it's very hard to choose favorites. I like different things for different reasons, and what I like can change from day to day or month to month. So it's whenever people ask for what's your favorite movie, what's your favorite song, I can't really choose. I always feel like if I choose, it's being disingenuous and I don't really mean it. I'm just choosing because somebody has told me to. So I'm just going to give one of the words that I really, really enjoy, and that is enchanting. I really love this word because it's a great descriptor for something that is fantastical, but it's a light fantasy. It's not something dark or heavy. It's enchanting. It's a light fantasy. It's beautiful. It's intriguing, and there's a hint of something more underneath the surface, if only you're brave enough to take the dive and see. Prompt number 17, your main character's deepest desire. Now in Scales Beneath Her Skin, Azara has a very specific goal throughout the story, but her deepest desire before she has this goal because some force has acted upon her. Before that goal, her deepest desire and something she holds throughout the entirety of the story is to be able to impact the world. Her deepest desire is to have the power to be able to make the world a better place, a safer place, a happier place. She wants to have some sort of lasting impact. Now, because this is her deepest desire, she goes after this whenever she sees an opportunity to. And the way she enforces this desire or goes after and pursues this desire might not have the intended effects that she would like. She does believe she is changing the world, but how she's going about changing the world might not be the way that she actually views herself to be changing it. Prompt number 18, time travel. So time travel is a very touchy thing. It's a very complex thing to include in stories. Time traveling in like real life, would I want to time travel? I'm not sure. I think that I would be terrified that I'd accidentally get stuck in time, and most of the times in the past were not the greatest for people like me. And I'm kind of afraid of what I might see in the future if I jump forward like Five does in the Umbrella Academy and it's an unfortunate situation. But time travel in stories, it's so complicated because you have to watch out for paradoxes and logical inconsistencies and just the ripple effect of your actions if you go back into the past. It's a very complex thing to write, and right now I am not I am not in the position to be comfortable spending that amount of time or effort trying to make sure I'm not having any logical inconsistencies or creating any paradoxes that'll bring somebody out of the story if they notice them. Prompt number 19, writing rituals. So I don't really have any writing rituals because I travel a lot, I visit family a lot, I move apartments a lot, so I don't really have a set space or the things around me that I could have a ritual that would carry through every single place that I'm at that I happen to want to write. The closest thing would probably be a lot of times when I write, I like to put on a sort of background ambiance type of thing, like ASMR rooms is really great for that. Cozy Autumn is really great for that here on YouTube. It's just little nature ambiances. Sometimes I pick the ambiance to match whatever is going on in the story. Say if I'm writing in the Forest of Maya, which is one of the settings in my story, then I'll put on kind of a fantastical woodsy type of ambiance. If I'm writing scenes in the castle, then I'll put on either a library or a ballroom type of ambiance that I can then write to and kind of get into the mood. But that's the closest thing I think that I would have to a writing ritual. I don't really have a writing candle or a writing spot that I go to. It's just kind of, I spur of the moment decide I want to write, and so I do. Prompt number 20, something old, something new. Now this was a really fun one to think about because I realized that old leaves falling from the trees, the carpet of leaves from late autumn as winter fast approaches, being stirred up by a cold wind, was the very first scene I ever wrote for the book, and it had been the first scene in the book for years. For years and years, that was the very first scene of the book, old leaves falling as winter quickly approaches. Now my first scene is actually spring seedlings pushing through the dirt only to be crushed underfoot by the king and his guards as they make their way towards a secluded cabin so that the king may receive a prophecy in the very first scene of the book. So the first scene used to be the dying of the year, autumn, the old being crushed underfoot and set to hibernate for the winter. And now the first scene is something new, spring coming in and creating new growth. Prompt number 21, your favorite book. Now, like I already said, I can't really choose favorites. It's just whenever somebody asks what's your favorite, I just kind of think, okay, what's something that I enjoy that's at the tip of my tongue? If I saw a list of all of the books that I've ever read and a short summary, I might have different opinions, but from what I remember and the stories that really stand out to me, one of my favorite books has to be The Music of Dolphins by Catherine Hess. Now, this is a kid's book that really impacted me when I read it, and I reread it quite frequently because it is a very quick read. I can read it in a couple of hours, and it never fails to make me sob my eyes out. It's a really powerful story about a young girl who was raised by dolphins. So she is a feral child. She was found by people flying in a plane over the islands that she and her dolphin family lived around. And they found her, and of course, because she's a human child, they took her from her dolphin family, and we get to see her. The book is kind of written as though it's her diary, and it's her experience as the human scientists try to teach her how to be human. How to read, how to write, how to interact with human society as a human and not a dolphin. And it's just a story about what does it mean to be human? What is humanity? How do you decide what your soul is? How do you interact with the world? And is it the way you're born, or is it the way you're raised? But I, of course, have to give an honorable mention to my favorite series ever, which is The Wheel of Time, which is actually being made into an Amazon series, which is really, really exciting. It comes out November 19th, and that's so crazy. It's only almost a month away, and that's awesome. Well, when I'm filming this, it's probably less than a month away by the time I post this. So I'm super excited for that, to see my favorite book series being put up on the screen. It's gonna be really cool. So The Wheel of Time is a high fantasy epic series that spans 15 books, so 14 books and a prequel, which I do highly recommend you read the prequel. It adds a whole bunch to the story. It has a story of its own, and it's just it's so good. It's so good. But I think my favorite story arc within this series actually happens quite early on. It's the arc that happens between book 4 and book 5, so between The Gathering Storm and The Fires of Heaven. These two books, it's kind of like The Lord of the Rings, in the fact that The Lord of the Rings is technically 3 books, but it's one overarching story. That's pretty much how this one is. These 2 books, it follows a central story arc, and it is such a joy to read every single time. Everything that Robert Jordan sets up and then subverts at the end of Fires of Heaven is amazing and awesome, and I just fall in love with it again and again every time I read it. Prompt number 22, plot twist. So I am not going to give you any plot twists that may or may not happen within my book, because I want you to experience it yourself as you hopefully read it. But I will tell you how I enjoy plot twists to happen. So like many people, I like plot twists that have been set up, that are logical, so that when you reread the story, you see the little hints, the little puzzle pieces, the breadcrumb trail that the author has sprinkled in that wasn't obvious at the time, but when you reread it, you can see, oh, okay, this was kind of planned ahead. And I really hate plot twists that just come out of the blue and are just there to be shocking and to just be a shock to the reader. I don't like those at all, because a lot of times they just don't make sense, and you're just like, why was this necessary? I totally agree with George R.R. Martin's take on plot twists or revealing a mystery, because he was asked about this as he is currently in the middle of writing his series. And so, of course, people reading it are theorizing about it. And he said that if a fan reader theorizes the actual twist to your story, don't change it just because a reader has figured it out before you wrote it. You've already set up that plot twist, you've already set the breadcrumbs, you've already made all of the foreshadowing, so it doesn't make sense to change the story that you're writing just because one reader has figured it out. Let them be right. Why are you so obsessed with your readers being wrong about what they think is going to happen in the story? If it's true to the story, if it's true to the themes of the story, the message you're trying to send, then it's fine. Let them be right. Don't change the twist in the middle of writing the series just because somebody has figured it out. That's never made any sense to me, and I feel like it's really poor writing if you just change it, not because it makes sense for the story, but rather just because somebody else has figured out the twist before you've published it. Prompt number 23, character flaw. So one of the flaws that I find the most engaging to read, watch, and write is the flaw of pride or hubris. I really enjoy reading or taking in characters who truly believe that what they're doing is right. And they are willing to do whatever it takes to, enact that because they believe the way they view the world is right, their goal is right, and they're going to pursue it. I really enjoy reading that and then getting to the point in the story where that character has to realize that maybe they weren't. Maybe they needed to listen to others. Maybe they needed to experience the world the way others experience it because they have a very limited view of the world and they need to expand their worldview. I love watching characters have to reconcile with what they've done, with their outlook on life, and really having to work on themselves and face the consequences of their actions that they truly went into feeling they were right, but that doesn't mean that they were, and that doesn't mean there won't be consequences to what you've done and the people that you've hurt. I love seeing them accept that others have pieces of the puzzle of life that they don't have and that they need to work with their community. They need to listen to others. They need to accept that others might know better than them, and seeing that journey in a character is really satisfying for me. So pride, hubris, self-righteousness, these are all flaws that I really enjoy exploring in characters. And so that is week 3 of the InstaWrimo challenge. I hope that you really enjoyed that, and feel free to answer any of these prompts in the comments below. Let me know what your favorite book is, what your favorite character flaw is to read about, and any writing rituals you might have. And don't forget to check out my TikTok, where I post videos pretty much daily and on this type of topic, writing advice in general, and just kind of day in the life things on my TikTok that's much more informal than here on YouTube. Thank you so much for watching. Give this video a like and subscribe if you want to see more from me. Perhaps ring that bell if you want to know when I'm going to be posting new videos. And I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. This is High Fantasy Writing. My name is April, and happy writing.